moving on.
Yeah.
Now, we are joined today and really delighted to see Atif Shahad from, well, I have to say from the Spice of Life because you're so well known from the Spice of Life, but you're a resident in the street of Scariff and you are very welcome. And I want to say Ramadan Mubarak to you. Is that the right way to greet somebody during Ramadan?
It is. Thank you very much. I appreciate. And yes, it is the right way to say Ramadan Mubarak.
It's a
Ramadan
greeting.
It
Mubarak.
is greeting.
It's like a blessed Ramadan
Blessings, yeah.
to you. And you know, we really are interested, Atif, and I've wanted to ask you this for ages and ages, because I suppose over the years I would have worked with people in hospitals who were observing Ramadan, you know, and made the mistake at times of offering snacks or offering tea or eating in front when somebody was quite hungry. So I kind of know a little bit about it. But I think a lot of our listeners, it's probably new to them that this is part of your faith, a part of the Muslim faith, which you observe every single year. Tell us what Ramadan is, please.
It is. We have 1 month. This is called Ramadan, Holy Month, and every year we do 30 days Ramadan, 29 days or 30 days, and it's called the month of fasting, month of blessing, month of joys, and you can say month of sacrifice as well.
Yes.
You have to give up everything, every single thing, from sun rising till sun setting.
Okay. In Ireland, that's a long time because our sun doesn't go down till late in the evening and rises quite early. So would that be longer here, for example, than it would be in Pakistan?
It is. It is. It's longer than Pakistan. Pakistan, it has only maybe 13 hours, and here we have 16, 17 hours.
Okay.
But still, weather makes a big difference as well.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
It is, yeah. Because the weather in Ireland is pleasant and it's not that hot. Pakistan is a bit hot and it's more difficult.
I'm sorry.
Still, it's called sacrifice. It's tell us about the humanity, how to sacrifice the people who don't have food, and a lot of things. Ramadan and fasting tell us about the community, how to live together, how to eat together when it's when you are taking the fast and when you are opening the fast as well.
Yes.
Sorry, can I ask you, are you allowed to drink water?
No, we don't.
No.
We are not allowed to do anything.
That's very hard in a very hot climate, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's very hard, but still, when you are following a faith, then you have to follow everything.
Yes, the rules of it. And does everybody do children do Ramadan?
No, children are exempt from this. It's a certain age in which you can do. Like after 10, you can do after 10-year age. This is before that you are not allowed. Like you don't need to.
So at home you still prepare food for small
Yeah, of
children,
course it is.
and
It
they
is.
get fed and all of that.
It is.
And then it becomes a choice to as they progress into, I suppose, into puberty and into teenage. They take it up then.
And especially I want to tell everyone it's not allowed to everyone. It's not allowed to. It's not like specified the people who are sick. They are exempt from this.
Okay.
And there is certain conditions. If you are one of them, then you can exempt.
Like if you were diabetic, you might have to.
If you are diabetic, if you have conditions, then you are exempt from this as
Okay.
well. And you can pay to your to poor people for this.
Yes.
Like it's a certain amount. If for 30 days, if you let's suppose a $5 a day or $10 a day, you can give.
So is
A
there an
donation.
expectation that
Yeah.
you would make a contribution,
Contribution,
towards the church or towards the mosque at the...
Towards a poor community.
Oh, towards the poor community.
Poor community.
Okay.
It's not specifically mosque or church or anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of organizations who are helping the poor people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who are
right. So-
doing the good deeds to humanity. We can do them as well.
Can you just give us an idea of what your day in Ireland is like? with regard to your eating? You rise at what time?
We are rising at the kind of 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
4 o'clock in the morning.
To pray.
And for fasting.
Okay.
And then after you have time for the pray. 4 until half 4 you can finish eating. Kind of, you can say...
are there
quarter to
special
5,
foods?
Yeah, quarter to 5 we have. At the minute we have 5 o'clock is the maximum time. Till 5, 4 to 5 you can eat. Rising up time, it doesn't matter. Like
Any food you
food,
like?
yeah, any food, whatever you like, you can eat. And then after 5 you cannot eat. After that it's 5 o'clock. It's prayer time. You can pray, and then after you can do your routine work.
And actually, if I'm thinking about your life, because I had your life for a while, which was, our family had a takeaway, and it's hard work, and it's also late nights. So that's pretty tough. You must only be in bed a few hours when you get up to eat something before, to start the day, do you?
It is, yeah. And you can say like at 11, 12 o'clock when you are finishing work, and after you have maybe 1 or 2 hours for sleeping, or 3 hours, and then after you have to get up again, and then you have to do the fasting.
Yeah. Okay. Now tell me about prayer and how is there special times for prayer during the day then?
Yeah,
and are they special to Ramadan?
Yeah, nothing special. It's all over year going on. The prayer timings are kind of same every year, and every day we have to pray 5 times a day.
Yes.
The morning and the start of the day, and then after middle of the day, and sun setting, and then after at the end of the night we have 5 times a day.
And
specific.
and they're set prayers that you say, are they? They're
Set prayers,
usual
yeah.
prayers.
It is set-
And do
set.
all the family do that?
Yes, mostly do. There is certain conditions and as well.
Yeah.
For the girls, they have some conditions. If they are in that conditions, they are exempt from them
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you are fit and fine, healthy, then you have to do that.
Yeah. And
And
do you go
this is
to
a part of the faith as well.
Do you go? I mean, not personally, but would most of your family go to the mosque?
We do,
weekly?
yeah, we do. It's a bit tough at the minute for us because Friday we can go only one day Friday, which is you can say community center in Limerick.
Yes.
We go at the daytime. We can make one mosque every Friday. But
Yeah.
otherwise, in Pakistan, we have mosques near enough to our homes. You can go 5 times as well. And if you want, if you are...
Oh, you can
really-
go on other
Yeah,
days as well, and not
yeah.
just
No,
Friday.
every day you can go.
Oh,
every
every day.
day, 5 times you can go to mosques.
Yeah. Is there a big community, Islamic community in Limerick, for example,
It
to
is.
support the mosque?
It is a good community, a
Yeah.
big community of Muslim people. Muslim from all over the world, they are gathering in a one community center, or Islamic centers it's called, or something.
There
like
isn't
this.
one in Clare? There isn't an Islamic...
It's in Ennis we have a small, but
Mostly you
I
go to Limerick.
mostly go to Limerick.
Yeah. Now, at the end of Ramadan is a feast. It's called Eid. Is that
yeah,
correct?
we have a big celebration that's called Eid Day.
Yeah.
And in that day we do same kind of celebrations that you do on Christmas. Like
So
we
really-
have a
so
family
really
gathering.
big.
It's a big day. Like you
Yeah.
have all family gathered, and a big feast as well. And first of all, we go pray in the morning, and then after you start your day with the joys and greetings,
So
with the
that's
new
a-
clothes and everything.
That's a
like
great
this.
celebration.
It
You've
is.
come through this time of sacrifice and I suppose self-denial and, discipline.
Yeah.
And then you've got party time, really.
It is, yeah,
it's-
it is.
What
yeah.
do you eat for Eid? What would be traditional to eat?
It's specifically, it's depending where you are from
Oh, yeah.
and what kind of food you like to eat. Like it's depending. Any kind
What
of
does your
halal
family
food.
like?
Yeah, we like mostly lamb curries
Oh,
and
lovely.
biryanis and this kind of stuff. Like mostly Indian curries or Pakistani curries. Pakistani and Indian mostly traditions are same,
Lovely.
and the food are mostly same. That's why.
And you make the naan breads
Yeah, we
and the flatbreads and...
ladies, they do at home.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
don't cook at
Always
home.
the ladies.
Yeah, always ladies.
Well, us ladies make bread.
It is.
Do you get
It's a big
together with
part.
other families, or is it just a family celebration? Do you
No,
get
no. It's whole community celebrations.
Okay.
It's depending who is coming to you and who is going to their homes. It's depending.
Yes, but here now it might
mostly-
be difficult because you just know the community in Limerick. Do you have many of your family here?
Yeah, I have a kind of 12 family member living in Scariff.
Oh, very good.
12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before I was living only my own, and slow and steady, nearly 16 years, I got them all here.
As
kind
if
of.
that's
Very good.
wonderful.
In Scariff, it
How
is
many
my home.
children? How many children? Are all yours boys?
Yeah,
Are they?
yeah. I have 3 boys.
Uh-huh.
3 boys. Yeah.
And they're big into the hurling.
Yeah, they are. They are very much in the hurling. They are very much in the sport. They're living in Scariff. They are in the national school in Scariff.
It's here
as
in the
well.
school in Scariff,
Yeah, it is.
yes.
They are.
And have they settled?
Yeah, they are. They
very
are.
good.
They are well.
They're very
well
Irish
settled.
these
Yeah,
days.
they are. Yeah,
That's
they're
right.
well into hurling. Really.
Do you
They love
miss
it.
cricket? Because cricket was a game that you liked.
Personally I do, but kids don't because
Oh,
they
I
don't know really. They never played much. They love in hurling. They love to play the local games. Really,
Yeah.
they mostly are in GA in the
Yeah.
in the field.
In the
Can
field.
Atif, can I ask you, is it a challenge to be a Muslim in East Clare or in Ireland, in
No,
modern day Ireland?
No,
like-
it's not the challenge in Ireland, especially. I can say this, and I can say proudly, it's not a challenge to be a Muslim or be any community in Ireland, because nearly 16 years ago, when I came in Ireland, and from day first till now, I never feel any difference. Believe me, this is my home, and I will say this will be my home in the future as well. And we are
Do you
living
miss
here.
Do you miss things about Pakistan? What do you
It
miss?
is. It is when your parents are living there and they can come over, because this only the things you miss, but otherwise
People.
it's nothing special. You can go back, and every year you go once or twice, and you can meet, and your family can come over.
Yes.
I have a big family in England. They are coming over. We are going to them as well. We are going Pakistan. They are coming to here as well.
That's good,
It's
yeah.
good. It's not bad really.
Yeah.
It's
Good,
yeah.
Yeah.
good.
very
I
good.
was just going to ask you there about, it's gone out of my head now, but the children in cricket. Now, there's no cricket around Scariff, is there really?
There's no cricket. No cricket in Scariff. No cricket around East Clare as well. Mostly we go to Limerick for pray.
Okay.
Pray. If my brother is playing, still he's playing. We had a club in, we can say, it was called Clare Cricket Club,
Okay.
and it was maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
We had a small community who were gathered.
Playing.
And they had
So
a team.
is that
but
how
now-
is that how you relax?
Yeah, it is.
Is there any
It
other
is
way you
any
can
game?
relax?
Yeah, if we are good in sport, and
Yeah.
we have a.
Yeah.
You can
Good
say
fun.
it's your passion.
Can we talk about women now? For
Oh,
a
Yeah,
while?
of course. Why not? Yeah.
So
Why not?
the women in your life, whom I often see, and your wife and your family, and other people's wives, are they happy and settled here? Do they miss things about home? Is it harder if you're a woman and you're at home and not as much out in the community? Do you think?
Not really. I don't think so. They are missing anything, because still they are living their homes. They are well settled in the community as well, and they have kids. They are raising them, and I don't think so. They miss much. I will say again, it's only the parents you miss them.
Yes,
And
whole family.
that's the only our family, like mostly close siblings, if you have. But otherwise, you have your family here. You are well settled in here as well, wherever you live in. It's a part of community, you can say now.
Yeah.
That's why they don't feel much really.
Yeah, and I think what's brilliant is to see you all back on, to see, because I used to live on the street of Scariff, where Emmett
It is,
lives.
yeah.
And when I was raising my family, and we had a takeaway, there was always lots of children on the street, and they were playing. And now I see yours and the children from, and it's just great to see what was a fine store, sparling shop. Now a lovely house, lovely housing, and on the street, and bringing families back into the area. So it's very good to
It
see
is.
you
It
there.
is. Thanks God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always proud to be a part of Scariff, part of East Clare community. Believe me.
Yeah.
It is good to be, really.
Good. What when you came first, or can you remember 16 years ago, what did you feel was the strangest part of being in Ireland, coming from Pakistan?
At that time, you can say you feel alone. That was the only thing.
okay.
Like you are only one person living in a different world. You can say.
Strange
And,
world.
yeah,
Strange world for you.
It
yeah.
was strange for me for at that time when I came in. We have never seen this much outing at night time
Oh,
and
yes, yeah.
drinking and
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
much joy on the weekends and this kind of stuff. We never seen.
That would be so
It's
different,
a totally
yeah.
different
Yeah.
culture. We have a totally different culture in back home, but slow and steady you settle down and you get mixed up and things come to be normal to you as well. Really.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know everybody, and
Yeah,
everybody
kind
knows
of.
you.
I know because it's a long time, and I can say this is my home, and
Yeah.
you know everyone at home. Really.
That's a great compliment to us, I think.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
Like thanks God, it's great for me as well. Like I never feel any strange thing. Like I never feel I am a stranger. I am from a different part of the world or something like this.
Well, I hope
am
that
from the-
stays. I
It
hope
is,
that
yeah.
keeps up. I
Hope
hope
so.
that is
Hope for
well.
the best. Yeah.
Carol, will we introduce our next guest?
Well, I'd love to introduce our next guest.
He has joined us a few minutes ago, and he was in with us before. Greg Dinner, you are very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Greg, you originally, you were brought up in Colorado, is that correct?
Yes.
But your family did not originate there, I think, did they?
Well, grandparents and further generations back did not originate there. My
Yeah.
own parents, my own family did. But my family would have come from Poland and Russia and Germany a little bit
Yeah.
and Central Europe.
Yeah. So your faith is Judaism, isn't
It
that
is,
correct?
yes, yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that and growing up with it? And
Yeah, sure. But first of all, Ramadan Mubarak.
Thank you very much.
Happy Ramadan.
yeah.
So yes, I grew up in quite a liberal Jewish environment, although my grandparents would have been much more conservative and much more observant. And the community where I grew up in Denver, I did go to religious school on Saturdays. I was bar mitzvahed. I was confirmed. But we were very liberal in my upbringing
Okay.
and my generation, which is the generation of the 60s and 70s. For my parents and my grandparents, as I say, it was much more conservative, much more observant, both in terms of prayer and going to the synagogue and in terms of their traditions and in terms of their background. So they would have been much more religiously Jewish, certainly than I
Yes.
am.
Yeah.
Culturally, no, we are all cultural Jews. But yeah, the background, I know stories, and I spent a lot of time with grandparents on holidays such as Passover, which is just about to happen now.
Right, yeah.
But in terms of prayer, by the time I reached 14, I was in a state school and moving on into the
Yes,
state world,
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
parochial world. Yeah.
So do you observe any of the cultural observances now?
My mother-in-law, who's Irish,
Yeah.
used to say, I think it's not such, we'd say now it isn't so kosher. She used to say my sense of humor reminded her of Woody Allen.
Yeah.
So kosher. So culturally, yes, in terms of, I would argue that a sense of humor in food is really important about being
Sure.
culturally Jewish. In terms of holidays, in terms of observance of Jewish traditions, not so much here
Okay.
because it's harder here.
Yeah.
But if I'm back in Colorado or particularly in the United States with family over a holiday, for weddings, funerals, any kind of observant festivals, then yes, we're somewhat observant, and certainly I can recite prayers and tell you stories.
Do you light the candles on a Friday night? Do you do
Not
any
here.
of that? No,
Yeah,
don't
in
you?
Denver we would.
Yeah, yeah.
And when my parents were alive, when I was back, I would.
For Shabbat.
But I've been away a long time, and most of my peers here and in the UK, my family here or in-laws, hardly are observant Jews. So it's a little
Yeah.
bit harder here.
We don't have a great track record in Ireland with, like there were the pogroms in Limerick and with the Jewish community, because there was a vibrant Jewish community
Yes, it
here.
was. Yes, it was.
Which is there's very few Jewish people living here now.
That's correct.
And that's a shame.
I've been coming to Ireland now for about 45 years. When I first started coming to Ireland, it was very different, and I was very isolated. I was very aware of my background, which was, I did encounter things that were a little different.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I meet people from all over the world, all different kinds of cultural backgrounds, and there's anti-Semitism anywhere, but it's not like it was when I first started coming here. People are much more tolerant now. There are immigrant communities here from all over the world, particularly from Pakistan, yes, from North Africa, refugee cultures coming in, and so people like me are much more in the norm now than they would have been when I first started coming here. It's a little different now.
Do you find, Greg, that as you grow older, you miss those cultural things that were part of your youth? Do you feel yourself drawn back to them?
Not drawn back to them so much as very aware of them, and drawn back for a variety of reasons. Maybe that's not true. Maybe I am drawn back a little bit. I've been an expatriate now for more than I've been a patriot, more than I've been in the United States. I've been gone a long time. And I find that, and particularly when my parents were still alive, my father passed away a few years ago, you were drawn back for reasons of family, and that included some aspects of religion. And I'm much more conscious, much more thinking about both parents and grandparents these days, again, for a variety of reasons. So I am drawn back to family events, and family events are often tied to religious events.
Yes.
And certain holidays, Passover being one of them, which is a big family event.
Which
big
starts
into
next
food,
Friday, I
Which
think.
starts next Friday. I'd be drawn back to. I don't go back very often.
Tell us what happens at Passover. Just generally, I'm just so into food.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what people eat.
Well, Passover is a big food holiday, unquestionably.
Yeah.
Passover, like Ramadan, like Easter, is a very important holiday. It isn't the most religious in terms of prayer holiday, but it's probably the most important holiday because it does have to do with family. And when I was growing up, and it's still the way it's celebrated, it goes over generally 2 nights, or 2 days and nights, and you will go to the synagogue a bit, perhaps to pray. But it's really centered around family getting together and praying in the household. There is a special prayer book that comes in just for the holiday, and families get together to go through this prayer book at the same time as they eat. So there is a central food platter, if I can put it that way, symbolic of different aspects of what the holiday is on the table. And prayers are said while it's discussed what each of these symbols means. Passover celebrates the leaving of the Jews from Egypt, the Exodus, and so it's really it's storytelling, which is my world. The story of passed from generation to generation. The story of leaving Egypt, the plagues that are brought upon the Pharaoh, being able to leave Egypt, and finding the Promised Land, which by story Moses was not allowed to go into, but the Jewish people did go into. And so it has huge significance in Jewish history and Jewish storytelling and in Jewish culture. And the way it's celebrated, and we would always celebrate it, is on those 2 evenings, usually you go to a different grandparents, and you read that particular liturgy, which is called the Haggadah. And it's basically the story of the Exodus that is told. And there are questions that are asked about the symbols, the center of which is matzah, which people may have heard of. And very often it's the youngest child asking the eldest person there, the grandparent, what is the meaning of all this? And it is explained. So it's very much a family about holiday. It's very much about, then after these prayers are said, about eating. Feasts are great, and food is great, and it's very, very much about family.
And will you celebrate it this year?
Will I celebrate this year? No.
No.
It's Annie and myself, and I'm actually traveling this year.
Yes.
So.
You said there a minute ago that it's not the most religious ceremony.
That's correct.
What is the most religious ceremony for you?
Yom Kippur. Well, the most
Yom Kippur.
religious Yom Kippur, which
Yeah.
is in the autumn,
Yeah.
and that's very religious. It's a day of atonement. So it's atoning for one's sins, and it is a very religious holiday in the synagogue. Passover is religious, but it's really about storytelling and family. So it's a celebration.
Celebration, yes, a
more
commemoration
than-
of
It is,
an event.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is lamb a big feature of a Passover dinner? What would be the main?
So on the Seder plate, there are 6 or 7, depending which family, symbols.
Yeah.
And on one of those symbols is a lamb shank.
Oh, yeah.
So, and a lamb shank, it represents the sacrifice that Jews made.
yes.
So,
Yes,
and
okay.
lambs were sacrificed when they started on their travels over the Red Sea and then into Sinai. So, lamb in that way is a symbol of one of the symbols on the Seder plate. In terms of eating lamb, it depends on which family. We usually had chicken, as I recall, for the main course.
Yeah.
Some families have lamb. It isn't, and it depends if you come from Israel.
Of course,
what you have.
Yeah.
It's usually a feast.
But
it's
lots
usually
of lots of nice cooking goes
lots
on.
of nice cooking.
Yeah.
Yes, cooking was important. Always is.
Very, very good.
I
Yeah.
have a small question to you. What about the halal food in Jews?
Kosher
They have,
food.
yeah. What is that? Can you explain small little to me as well? Like I don't know about.
So
Yeah.
kosher food, and there's kosher for Passover, is not dissimilar to halal. It has to be blessed by, in our case, a rabbi, and it really centers on meat and what you mix with meats. You don't mix dairy with meat. In terms of meat itself, it's how you bleed the animal, which is same with halal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it has to do with blessing the meat, and it has to do with certain observances for hygiene.
Of
That's
the
where it
way
comes
something
from.
was butchered.
By
Of
the
the
way,
way
of
it was
butchering in terms of
prepared.
meat, and it prepared so that you're not mixing dairy with meat.
Yeah.
These really come from biblical laws that actually do with hygiene and foods from the Middle East. So you had to follow certain observances so nobody got ill.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's why it's handed down, but it took on religious significance as well.
Yeah.
So for Passover, certain foods will be kosher for Passover. It goes through a different prayer system.
Yeah.
But the process of both creating the foods and the butchering of the meats, it's very similar to halal. It's done by special butchers or people who are
Yes, who are
trained to
trained in
do
this,
this, in the case of meats. And then it's overseen by a rabbi for prayers and such.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it
It's
changes.
funny as well how kosher became in slang. You know that we now say things like
It's not kosher.
It's not kosher. You know, and it's that's really
it's-
come into the language,
it's
isn't
still
it?
a joke with us.
Yeah.
That's not kosher.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things aren't kosher.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, my grandparents, who were very observant, kept kosher.
Yeah.
Which means that the foods they eat would only be kosher foods,
Yes.
having been blessed by a rabbi. If it's meat,
And that would be
butchered,
down
it's
to salt. It would be down to everything.
Yes,
the
it
food
would.
and cooking
And it also went down to there were 2 sets of plates and forks and all the
right,
silverware
okay.
because you don't mix meats and
Yes.
dairy.
Dairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything in the house
Yeah.
was kosher.
and shellfish is not allowed. Is that
Shellfish
right?
is not allowed.
And
Yeah.
pork.
And pork
Oh,
is not
yeah,
allowed.
pork,
And
of course.
again, these, if you talk to a rabbi, these go back. It's less about now it's religious, but it goes back to hygiene
In
Yes.
those
And being in
days
the
and how
desert.
they were viewed.
and how they were viewed. So
Yeah.
shellfish, you don't eat shellfish in a hot environment. You have to be careful here about eating.
Yeah.
Now it's flown
That
in.
made sense.
But that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Pork was the same. Pork was not as hygienic. So it really goes back to culinary laws to keep you safe.
Yeah.
But then it was written into the Bible and took on religious
Yeah.
significance.
Yeah.
Can I change well, not the subject, but you've written a book recently, Greg, and you were in here talking about it, and the launch is on the 21st in the library, I think.
That's correct. Yeah.
And that kind of brought you back to your Jewish roots in a
did.
big way, didn't
It
it?
did, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer that, and I'm going to change direction a little bit.
Okay, any way
in,
you
in
like.
a couple of ways.
Yeah.
Both of us, we are immigrants here. We are exiles to some degree. We're certainly
Yeah.
expatriates, whether we go back or not. Ireland has a history of that and has always made us very welcome, no question. And I've always felt welcome here and comfortable here. And the reason I bring that up in the question you asked is the book that's coming out is set mostly in Warsaw, certainly mostly in Poland. And the way I want to turn it is right now events that are happening in the world, particularly
in
Ukraine,
Ukraine.
are deeply, deeply affecting me because where my grandfather came from. My grandfather used to say, when you say, where did you come from? It was Poland, and then it was Russia, and then it was Poland. It was never anywhere because the boundaries didn't exist. He, in fact, came from a little village just outside of Lviv.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
most of
So
my
actually within the present
now
Ukraine.
it's Ukraine.
Your grandfather.
My
My
grandfather.
goodness,
Now,
yeah.
most Jews or Central European Jews, Ashkenazi Jews, come from a crescent that stretches. It comes from Lithuania to into Poland. It's a crescent called Vilnius Gubernia. It's that whole area of Lithuania, Ukraine, Belarus, into Poland, where a lot of the Jews came from. And what's happening there now, particularly at the moment with Passover coming on, is that people are being forced to leave. They are going into exile.
Yeah.
They are leaving what is the Pharaoh has come in. And so I'm deeply involved with what's going on there. It's
Affected
deeply
by it,
affecting me.
yeah.
And the book, which takes place mostly in the Warsaw Ghetto, has made that even stronger, even more come to the fore. And the reason I bring it up is you'll see, I mean, I see it in Scariff. There are people from all over the world, people of all colors and backgrounds and religions. There's about to be a new immigrant culture coming in here. There are a lot of Ukrainians coming
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening to this, I would say if you see people who are coming in, whether they're Uyghurs or they're from Syria or Afghanis or Pakistan and now Ukraine, reach out a hand and greet these people. Help these people, because the book you ask about deals with what it's like when these worlds are destroyed. And I have to say, and I'll talk a little bit about it at the launch you mentioned, I've seen a lot of images of what the Warsaw Ghetto looked like, what Warsaw looked like. The book is being released in paperback on the 19th of April. That is the anniversary of the beginning of what is known as the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, which lasted for 1 month. At the end of that month, if you look at the pictures of the Warsaw Ghetto, there is nothing. There is literally nothing. It has been totally destroyed except for parts of one church. That's it. And why I bring it up is the pictures look a lot like Mariupol.
Yes.
And so
And they've created a ghetto in Mariupol.
and they have. And so I ask and tell people, be aware of people coming in here,
so true.
particularly right now, not just Ukrainians, but people all over the world who've come to this country, because this country offers a bit of refuge, particularly now.
And Greg, I think as well, you make a very good point, because the people who will see, and we'll see them in Ennis, we'll see them in, I know there's a lot of Ukrainians in West Clare, and we hope we'll have some in East Clare, I'm
There
sure.
are some in
Yes.
Flagmount.
So
correct.
we'll want to welcome them. The difference between you choosing to leave Pakistan, you choosing to leave America, whatever, and you are immigrants, is these people are traumatized coming
they
here.
are.
And,
Yes, they are.
we don't have any experience of that. But at the same time, reaching out a hand is probably all that's needed initially.
I'm involved with a Ukrainian family who made it to Ennis, and I got involved with them in a very roundabout way. I've been talking to, because I come out of film and TV, with a young director who can't leave, or can leave Ukraine, but she won't because her parents will not leave Lviv. She put me in touch with this family. I wasn't able to help them a lot, but I said if they wanted to come to Ireland, they actually bought plane tickets here, and they ended up in Ennis. They've been housed in a hotel there. Woman and 2 children. The woman does not speak English. The 2 children, the eldest boy does, he's 15, so I work with them through him. And yeah, they have been traumatized, and it was very interesting. Her biggest concern, having lived in, or been stuck in a cellar until they could leave with nothing but backpacks, all she wanted to know, all she wanted my help for, was how does she get her children into school? How does she bring back education? They are in schools now. And it's really interesting because where she's coming from is that family is the most important thing. And what I hope all people remember, whatever country you're from, and I don't care, again, you're from Pakistan, you're from the United States, you're from Syria or Afghanistan, people just want to protect their families and just want to see their families survive and prosper to grow up, their children grow up. The images we're seeing right now are horrible. The holidays you're here to celebrate, really, they're about community and they are about family. And I hope people don't ever forget that.
Yeah.
They're just people like us.
Yeah, and I actually have to say at this point that we were to be joined for this discussion by Father Darius,
Yes, I know.
who is our
Polish
priest in Bodyke and Tungrani, and he's sick. And we wish you well if you're listening, Father Darius. And we're very interested in hearing your view on being Polish and living in the area. And also, we hope to see you'll come in again soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just to say that that was part of the plan for today. Greg, the name of the book now and the book launch, the details of. Do you
Sure.
want to give that out?
So the name of the book is A Requiem for Hania, and there's a launch in Dublin on the 20th, and then we're here on the 21st at the library.
Yes.
Anybody is welcome.
Yeah.
And it's
Will there be books for sale that night?
I have some.
Yes.
Not a huge amount because I have to bring them in the printers in the UK. Welcome to the world of Brexit.
Oh,
So it's a problem.
okay.
However, the book, if I don't have copies, can be ordered from O'Mahony's, from bookshops, online booksellers, however anybody wants to get them.
And it's in the evening in the library, isn't
It's
it?
6:30.
Yeah,
6:30 in the evening.
Yeah.
And I'll show it. There's a short video to show, and then I'll talk about the story and how it came about, and the Irish connection. There is an Irish connection that I talk about.
Best of luck with
Do
that.
either of you wish to say anything here now before we finish up? And it's wonderful to have you both here, really, I must say.
Thank you very much. I will say only it's a big appreciation for all of us to mix in a community, live in a community, and a welcome community. Like it's always a welcoming environment in Ireland.
It's good to hear.
And we will say this is a bad time on Ukraine, and we'll say our best wishes to all of them. And if they are coming to Ireland, wherever they need us, we will be there for them as well.
And that's wonderful.
Yes, yeah.
That's
And
great.
all Muslim community, they are all together, and they always helpful to everyone. And especially when you are living in East Clare or any part of the world, wherever you are needed, you will be there. And we are one of them
And I
as well.
think it is a place of safety. You
It
know,
is.
I
It
think
is. It-
that's
thanks God,
important to, when you talk about refuge, you know,
Yeah.
that we hope that we will be able to offer a place of safety to
that's
people.
the first thing I said to this family and to others coming in, you're safe here.
Yeah.
You're right. People are really decent here. I've been made to feel very welcome for 45 years. And it's a lovely community. East Clare is a lovely community. It's great fun. Very comfortable here.
But we are also blessed by the people who've come into
Yes,
our
absolutely.
come into
They
our
have
community
added
and
so
offered
much to our
so
community.
much.
Yeah, you've given so much to our
yes,
communities,
so
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Do you want to say anything else, Greg?
Not really. I'd reiterate. Thank you for having us. And this community is a very kind, welcoming community. I've been very comfortable here since I've moved here 7 years ago from the UK. And these people who are coming in, these are my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And we are expats, but we've been made to feel at home here. And I would wish everyone a happy Passover. I'd wish everyone Ramadan Mubarak, a happy Easter. Just remember that we're all part of this same family, and we feel very welcome here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say happy Easter to everyone, and happy holidays as well to everyone who
And
is celebrating.
we
say
reiterate that
the same.
thing. And thank you so much, both of you, for coming
Thank
in
you very much
Yeah.
for
and enriching our
having us.
morning.
Absolutely. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.